I would have trapped that sucker. All right, trapped it, chained it, bottom of the ocean. Boom. All right, problem solved.
You can't touch it, right? That's the whole thing. You can't touch it.
He could touch it. He hit it with a beach chair, and then they put a blanket on it.
Well, I mean, I get maybe with poles or like a giant net. Then maybe that's what you do.
Yeah, like chain it up, and then put it in a cage, and then boom, to the middle of the ocean.
I guess we'll have to wait for the sequel to find out exactly what happened. All right, old buddy. Spooky time of year.
It is spooky. My computer's acting spooky, so let's hope
Hey,
always with the fright cap.
Didn't this happen last year too? Right?
Yeah, it did. Oh, I don't know. Something about these fright caps.
Ghost in the Machine, man. All right, man. Well, let's get into it. 3, 2, 1. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Fright Cap.
Welcome back, guys.
A little horror movie special edition here for October.
Finally.
Hopefully you guys saw our Fright Caps from last year. We had some pretty good ones, actually, I think.
Yeah, we did.
Kicking it off this year, we're going to be doing It Follows. This was my horror choice for the year. So, I'm looking forward to diving into this one. Very acclaimed. I was actually looking at my notes right now before we hopped into this again, but we'll see how the critics lined up with a nightcap, all right?
The fright cap.
The Fright Cap, you know what I mean? We go to the beat of our own drum. But before we get into the review here, man, what you drinking tonight?
I am drinking Premier Protein. It's a good Costco find if you ever there in need of some of that Gain Train. But I'm drinking it out of my Supernatural cup. Shout out to Spirit Halloween.
All right, nice. All right, I'm just drinking some iced tea tonight, some green iced tea, trying to get that metabolism going while I'm sleeping. Hopefully, I got a few more pounds before that winter 15 hops on or whatever it is. So
I don't need any more.
Yeah, exactly. Before we get into this review, if this is your first time watching the show, I'll go ahead and put up our grading system right now so you guys can follow along. We like to break down movies category by category, see what we think about it, and then give it an overall numeric score. Also, if you guys are interested, I'll go ahead and put up our Instagram right now too, so you guys can follow us there. And also, guys, don't be afraid to leave a comment below. Let us know what you guys think. If you guys agreed with us, what you guys think these movies should score. We're always looking forward to getting you guys' feedback. And also, don't forget to hit that like button as well. Hit the subscribe button so you guys can keep up with us and tell us how great we are. We need that for the ego.
How strong Steve is.
So we got the chores out the way here. Warning, there is some spoilers here. So if you haven't seen this movie before, you want to hit pause right now, come back to the review after you watched it. That might be a good idea. So just warning right now to anybody who hasn't seen the movie, because we're about to dive deep and take some swings right now. All right, but let's go ahead and get into this movie, bud. It Follows. It's kind of like an indie film, right? Very low budget. Not very really familiar with these actors or the director here. It's got I guess kind of like an original idea. It feels familiar though, right?
To me, it seemed like an original idea. I don't know if any other movie had this diabolical way of passing on a curse through sex, guys. I'm talking about sex.
Sexually like transmitted ghost.
Like a dynamic STD. The most diabolical way, guys. So I don't know. Tell us if there's been another movie like this. But to me, that was a pretty unique plot. That's why I gave it a 7 out of 10. Very generous there.
Yeah, for me, for the story wise, I wasn't nearly as impressed. I gave it a 3.
Whoa!
I mean, I guess it was somewhat creative, but it felt very borrowed. A lot of the ideas, a lot of the shots, you can see a lot of the his inspirations and influences coming through. And overall, the story itself, it just felt like a really bad chain letter. like the worst kind of chain letter, where like the zombie is just tracking you and tracing you down. But yeah, I don't know, man. I was expecting more, and then I was expecting like some kind of twist at the end too to really kind of like bring me in, and it just never hit for me. Like, I don't know. Am I wrong here?
I think you were probably set yourself up too high just because you saw like maybe the critics gave this such high scores. I was actually really, interested in watching this also. I never watched it before, but then when you suggested it, I was like, you know what? I've been wanting to watch that just because it did get such great reviews. And then I think that was the big letdown, is because we kind of hyped ourselves up too much.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think that all the critical acclaim really kind of pumped me up. And so I was really just looking forward to getting something just kind of new and fresh and stuff. And it kind of was a little bit. I mean, it was a different idea. I haven't heard this story before, but there
Hmm.
was just no there for me. Like in the end, like the story itself was just kind of the plot kind of had a lot of holes in it, and
Oh,
I'm sure we'll get
definitely.
into it right now. But yeah, I don't know. It just didn't overall just didn't deliver. And then in terms of like actually the tension, I don't know, man. It didn't really land for me. Did you feel the suspense, or was I the only one that was kind of like, eh?
I think, this is actually a good segue to production. The only tense feeling I had was through the score. I did like the score. It kind of that's the only time it kind of set up a little bit of a tense feeling. I like that. It set a mood. Is some of the music was very ominous, and it sounded kind of 80s, which I kind of like a lot. Some synth in there, but that was about it. Like the minimal special effects were okay. The makeup was okay, but in a feeling of dread and all that, I didn't really get unless you saw like somebody in the very back slowly walking. You're like, is that it? Is that it? Or is that just a person? Like,
Yeah, that was pretty much it. And what did you think about the time period, or basically the lack thereof? Did you notice that he kind of mix matched time periods, like in terms of like the technology and the cars and the setting there?
yeah, I think maybe because it was just they were poor. They just had beater cars. Like it could have been early 90s or 70s, or it could have been mid 2000s. You
Well,
didn't
I
really
saw a little
know.
thing from the director. He actually mixed the time periods because he
Hmm.
wanted it to purposely feel kind of like timeless and dreamlike. But to
Mm,
me,
okay.
it just ended up feeling kind of like confusing because sometimes I'd be watching one scene like, okay, wait a minute, she's got this weird like tablet makeup thing she's reading, and then like the next
That
minute
had a book.
yeah,
Yeah.
they're calling like on landlines, and then like the cars
Hmm.
are like, okay, this guy's driving like an old like 1970s car. It's like you just couldn't tell what was going on. I don't know. For me, it was kind of distracting. It didn't really work. And I mean, I get like everyone right now, especially with the Stranger Things, they're trying to do like these throwback kind of like 80s
Right.
vibes. And like you said, you got the synth, kind of that. Then that kind of feels into like the whole like indie thing too.
Hmm.
Which usually I'm kind of a sucker for, but I don't know, man. I wasn't that impressed in terms of the
Hmm.
cinematography too. There was some okay shots, but it felt amateurish, and the lighting specifically for me
Right.
felt amateurish. You could tell it was a low budget. It didn't quite land for me. Would you give it in terms of score for the production?
I gave it a 14. It's still decent because it's not like I could grade it versus like a big summer blockbuster with special effects and all that. It didn't look awful, but it didn't look like, a B movie.
Yeah,
Does that make sense? Yeah.
I give it a 13.
Okay.
Um, I would actually maybe say it did look a little bit like a B movie to me, just the way the execution of it. I mean, I don't know. I felt like I could tell. I felt like the soundtrack was okay. It was pretty cool, but that was kind of the best part of it. But like I said, for me, really, just the tension just wasn't really there. And there's not a lot of jump scares in this. Is there any? I don't know. And so you were just really kind of waiting for like that big payoff. And I don't know. For me, it just we never really got to that space. But let's go ahead
No.
and get into the acting and the performances. What'd you think about like all these young actors in here?
I mean, look, it's not gonna win any awards. All right, guys. Like it won't. But I felt like, is it Micah Monroe, the Jay, the main girl? She did a serviceable job as the frantic final girl. But yeah, I mean it's serviceable. Like, and the guy that played Paul, the ultimate simp, king simp, willing to
Yep.
take on this curse for some nanny. All right.
Like I said, I was like, man, I like that scene where they're all just kind of like in a circle and the two guys are just staring at each other like, who's going to take one for the team right now?
I'm like, ugh. I'm like, are you down that bad that you will take on this curse, this zombie ghost? What they don't even explain what the hell it is. Is it a demon? Is it like a ghost that has to knock on the doors and like crash through windows?
Yeah,
Like,
it's like supernatural,
I'll,
but you can shoot it in the head, right? And then like, you know what I was wondering too? Like,
yeah,
how did that guy find out? Was it the boyfriend, like the fake boyfriend guy that like ran away? Like, how did he find all these rules? Like, when he breaks
yeah,
it down to him, like, how did you know? Because he said someone gave it to him, but he didn't know.
yeah. Like, did he figure that out on his own? Did the girl that he sleep with tell him, and who told her? There's so many holes in this movie. Like, we could spend the whole episode like punching through all these like holes, but I don't want to, I don't want to, I don't want to shit on it too bad, but still, you know what I'm
And
saying?
then-
Like,
and the poor
like,
neighbor, that poor neighbor boy, bro, they just got, the worst ending possible. He got screwed to death by a succubus in the
it
shape
was
of his mom.
Honestly, he didn't even get screwed because you're wondering like what does this ghost zombie demon do when he finally catches you? Apparently, it dry humps you to death because she was just like dry humping the crap out of him. I'm like, whoa. And then next thing, and like with like electricity, like the dry humping caused like him to get electrocuted.
It was all the
I don't know,
static.
guys.
It was all the static friction. It's science.
It's science. Like, who am I to deny science right now? All right.
You know, one thing too, I felt like there was too many characters. Like I felt like with the sister and then the friend, and then they're all going to the house, and then the simp guy, and then the neighbor guy, and then this. I don't know. Sometimes I'm like, do we really need all these people here? Like, it almost would have been better if it was just the girl, maybe her sister, you know?
Yeah.
And then like
the sister's friend was definitely not necessary. Like,
yeah, do we really need it? And she was, I guess she was there for like some comedic relief, I guess. I mean, she like
no,
one scene.
I didn't even find any comic relief in this movie at all, unless it was
She
unintentionally
farted.
funny.
She farted on the couch. You didn't.
Oh yeah, whatever. Girls
Yeah.
fart. I get it. All right.
Ugh. I don't know. All right, well, let's get into directing here. Again, I mean, it's kind of a low budget film. I'm not familiar with this director. A lot of influences, a lot of camera shots that are kind of reminiscent of other movies. But I think you can kind of already tell the way I'm leaning here in terms of directing. What'd you give in terms of score for directing?
I was kind of lenient just because maybe, he put, this is his big, effort into like his first movie or whatever. I gave it a 20 out of 30. I did like all the shots of, the background shots where you can't tell if it's like the curse or not, or if it's just a regular person, because it gives you that little feeling of dread. You're like, hey, run, run, sucker. And then I did like the opening shot too of like the frantic girl, like literally leaving her house in heels and like her like some underwear. And then like the woman's like, are you all right? And then she's like, no. And then next thing you know, she's in the beach with like her legs like broken, like all this. So it was very jarring. But other than that, I mean, it's I just gave it a 20. Nothing really stood out.
Yeah, I give it an 18. Just wasn't impressed, man. I wasn't scared. I remember I put it actually in my notes. I was like 30 minutes into the movie. I'm like, I still haven't felt any tension in this movie. It picked up a little bit in the second half. I was like, okay, here we go. We're starting to get somewhere. But even in the end, the payoff just wasn't worth it. And, I mean, like I said, there was no twists or any kind of like surprises at the end. I had questions like, what happened with those guys in the boat? I don't know. Maybe I don't want to know. Maybe they got cut.
Hey,
maybe that's in the director's cut. I don't, know.
It's implied what happened. All right. She had to pass it on to those three guys, had herself a little shindig in the boat. All right.
that poor girl.
All right.
She saw her dignity. Right. And then Paul, the ultimate simp, did he go with those hookers or what's going on there? What happened with that too? We didn't get any answers.
No, he didn't. Like he drove by, those ladies of the night. He thought about it. He's like, you know what? But he's such a nice guy. He's like, I'm not going to pass on this curse. All right. So he drove off and I'm like, you're a sucker because that's what I would have done. All right. Many times over. All right. There. I said it. I don't care.
All right, man. Well, let's get into X Factor here. No surprises here for me either. I give it a 1. All right.
Ooh.
I'm sorry. This was
your pick, right?
This was my choice, by the way, just for everybody at home. Like, I picked this movie. All right. I thought I was going to like this movie. I read the reviews. Everyone's like, this movie is great. This movie is fantastic. It's creative. It's all this stuff. And I watched it. I'm just like, what? That was it? Like, what did I miss? But I even heard a little bit of talk that they actually might make a sequel to this, where they try to get to the root of this whole succubus. Right. But I don't know, man. It just didn't hit for me. How about you?
I gave it. I honestly, I should have changed my score. I gave it a generous 5 out of 10. Unlike you, I did.
You're turning into Paul right now. I'm
simping right now. Like, I like the story. I like the plot. It was just so many holes. Like, if they did create a sequel to show you like where this came about, maybe it'll make this one better. Who knows? But right now, you don't know where this came from. You don't even know if it's a ghost, a demon, a succubus, or what. All I know is that it can't really appear out of anywhere. It has to walk everywhere. And so it's a ghost that has to knock on doors and like climb through the window. And you could you can't see it, but you could shoot it. I would have trapped that sucker. All right. Trapped it, chained it, bottom of the ocean. Boom. All right,
Here's the
problem
catch, bro.
solved.
You can't touch it, right? That's the whole thing. You can't touch it.
He could touch it. He hit it with a beach chair, and then they put a blanket on it.
Well, I mean, I get maybe with poles or like a giant net. Then maybe that's what you do.
Yeah, like chain it
Corral
up,
it.
and then put it in a cage, and then boom, right to the middle of the ocean.
I guess we'll have to wait for the sequel to find out exactly what happened.
But yeah, I already know that's how I would have handled this situation, or would have just kept on passing it on. You know?
Forever. Be
Forever.
haunted the rest of your days like that. Ex-boyfriend.
No, I'll just keep, I'll just keep on giving it. All right. Sorry, ladies. Sorry, it buys me some time. All right.
Oh man, you're a tough man. You're a survivor, so you do what you need to do.
Oh yeah.
All right.
Oh yeah.
All right.
Survival instinct kicks in. All right.
Total score. What did you end up giving it?
I gave it a 64 out of 100.
Big old softy. I give it 55.
Ooh, this was your pick. Like I was really
I'm disappointed. Maybe I'll pick another one before the month. We have a lot of
you
movies.
should.
We have a lot of movies on deck, but maybe I'll pick a bonus one because this was my Fright Cap pick. Last year I did 20 Days Later. I love that movie. I still love that movie.
I still love that. And that was a great episode, by the way. That
we had a lot of good
pick.
ones. And so this one I'm a little kind of like thrown off. I'm like, oh man, I was really looking forward to this. But hopefully you guys will stick with us. We have some more movies coming up. Al has his pick coming up. I think you guys are gonna like it. Spoiler for me, I like that one more than this one. But I don't know, man. I'm just gonna shoot over to the people watching. Like, what did you guys think of It Follows? If you guys have already seen it, did you like it? Am I being too harsh on this movie? What did I miss here? Because I don't know. It just didn't land for me. There just wasn't enough suspense. There wasn't enough like charisma on the screen to really keep me going. And I don't know. I just felt disappointed at the end. So I don't know. Maybe this will be one of those exceptions where the sequel is better than the original, and it'll bring me back. But right now, I'm just kind of like meh. So
yeah, that was a good way of putting it. It's kind of like the ending was like okay, they still both have the curse. Dude's right behind them. What happened? Are they gonna lead him to the pool again? Oh, such a stupid idea. Come on, guys. That was the big mastermind plot, plan you guys had. You simp.
Yeah, it was stupid. Yeah, and then did they ever explain? I don't even want to digress anymore. It's like the dad, right, that shows up too, and she's like, I don't want to say. Like, are we gonna get some explanation on why that is? But I don't know. Whatever. I don't know that I care. Right there, I said it. Right, I don't care. Right. So
hour and a half wasted. Damn.
Pretty much. All right. Amazon Prime, send my money back. All right.
Give me my $3 back. All right.
Well, I'm done beating up on this dead horse right now. So let's call it a wrap. Unless you get any more points, let's wrap this bad boy up. You good?
All right. Let's wrap it up. Man.
All right. Well, like I said, once again, to everyone watching, go ahead and leave us a comment below. Let us know what you guys think. Did you love it? Did you not like it? And don't forget to stick with us for the next one for the Fright Cap. And also, why don't you leave a suggestion for a movie for me? Because I think I need another one. Let me replace this one.
Please.
All right.
Yes, please.
To do the Fright Cap justice. But until next time, everybody at home, cheers. And if you're like Al, sleep with the lights on. Right?
Pass it on.